Hi everybody, so today, as you can tell by my TARDIS here, I'm going to be reviewing my list of my favourite episodes from the Russell T Davies era. So this list will be from 20 to 11, and then obviously the next list will be from 10 to 1. So this list that I'm going to be reading, obviously if you haven't seen any Doctor Who or any Russell T Davies era, huge spoilers, and these are just my opinions, so please don't be offended that I haven't put your favourite episodes into this list. Just my personal opinion. Okay, let's go. Number 20, I found out that for some people, this episode, they just don't like. They just don't like this episode, and I don't really get why, because it's one of my favourite episodes from season 3. I love this episode. I think it's great. I've rewatched it quite a few times, and that's the Shakespeare Code. I think it's great. It shows the Doctor being super ignorant about Martha. Yeah, sure. When I'm rewatching it, I'm just like, the Doctor, you are a bit of a tool. But at the time I was like, yes, the Doctor's always mentioning Rose, but seriously, it's a bit, I don't know. I mean, I understand he's grieving at that point, but, props to Martha for, keeping, being, the strong companion that she is, and him ignoring the fact that she's black, she probably would suffer more discrimination back in, Shakespeare time. But I love it, and I love the whole, the Expelliarmus thing. It's great. As someone who loves Harry Potter, I love it. Number 19. Now, this is an episode I didn't think I would rate so highly, honestly. I liked it at the time. I thought it was a bit, I liked it. I didn't love it, but I think I appreciate it a lot more. I don't like it as much as the Shakespeare Code, but I think it's better written than the Shakespeare Code, which is why I put it at number 19, and that's The Doctor's Daughter. And yes, I know it's a bit weird because David Tennant's future wife and mother of his kids and all that, but it's really funny when I found out Georgia was originally she went for the part of Rose and didn't get it. I just don't think she would have worked as Rose. I think she worked really well as Jenny. And I love the whole thing, because I know some people do complain that the Doctor's, I know in classic Who, the Doctor would, fight and use weapons. But then obviously in New Who, due to the Time War and stuff, he's very much a pacifist. And it's just battling with all that, and how he's been avoiding talking about the fact that he had a granddaughter, Susan, kind of thing. So I really love it, and I think it's really interesting perspective on war and everything. And I wish Doctor and Jenny would meet again, but maybe it'd be slightly weird because, I don't know, it wouldn't be, would it? It'd be his future incarnation, so it's not anyway. So I like that one. Number 18, right, so this is going to be a bit weird, but I actually don't really like this two-parter that much, but I feel I had to put it here because it's so important. It's so important, I couldn't put it at the bottom, really. And there's nowhere else I could have really put it. So number 18, I put The End of Time, part 1 and part 2. I think the two-part was a total mess. I was super excited because although I didn't want 10 to go, I was interested because I was like, oh yeah, Wilf's going to be in it, the Master's going to be in it, and then the end of the the first part was Gallifrey, and it was the Time Lords and Vasilian, and I was like, oh my god, this is going to be amazing, and it wasn't. It just wasn't. It was just terrible, personally, for me. I'm sorry if you really liked it, but I felt the whole thing was not written well. It's definitely a very weak episode for me. At the time, this is going to sound really awful, and I love Wilf with all my heart, but when Wilf was knocking, literally in my mind, I just thought, why couldn't the Doctor just survive it, because Wilf's, this is going to sound awful, but I thought, Wilf's lived a long life. I didn't think of the Doctor living a long life because, David Tennant's young, I think, so then in my mind, that's how I thought of it. And I just felt, I don't see the point. I thought it was a stupid way for him to, that's how he has to regenerate. I feel they could have done it a lot better. And then I know the Doctor would never let Wilf die, but like, I don't know. I know, like, they did the whole Force Specials thing for, like, David Tennant to last a bit longer, but they just made him into, like, this really bitter and angry person, so he had no choice to regenerate, and I know that was the point, but I just felt it just dragged. I mean, I love, you know, some of the episodes of Russell T Davies era, but this one was not good. I like the, you know, the ending with the companions, and that scene with him and Rose made me cry a lot. But I feel like the whole thing was just a mess. And, you know, I don't really like it, but I feel like it is a really important two-parter, and I think they could have executed it much better with the Time Lords, with the Master, with Wilf and everything. Yeah, so sorry if I offended anybody. It's just my personal opinion. I'm not really a fan of it, but I feel like it's a really important, because obviously 10 going into 11, so that's why it is in my top 20 list. Number 17. Now, this is one of my favourite episodes of all time. I love it so much. I think in season 3, I wasn't, like, you know, a massive fan of season 3, I think mainly because I was grieving over Rose a lot, and so it kind of hampered my enjoyment of season 3. But this episode, like, has really stood out for me, and it's 42. I think it's incredible, the way they're like, you know, you've got 42 minutes before you crash into the sun, and then the Doctor's like, his eyes are burning, and it's just incredible. It's an incredible episode. I love the bit when Martha and the other guy, Riley, I think it is, see, I still remember his name, which is ridiculous. It was like 10 years ago, this episode. And they're like trying to do the like the trivia questions. But I love it. It's so scary and it's so well written. I love it. Number 16. Now, this is an episode I really like, but I think it has gotten better through rewatches from a few years ago I did. And I think just because it answers like so many important questions and it really makes you think, and I love those episodes that make you think, and that's The Planet of the Ood. I was obviously really upset when in season 2 the Ood like were left to die. I think that really like got to me, and so the fact that they like brought them back and they were, you know, it was the Doctor realised he just, you know, he left them behind, and then it was, you know, Donna making him think about the whole slaves thing, and, you know, the whole Doctor and Donna thing. It's just beautiful, and I love the episode, and I love like the plot twist at the end when the Ood has been like spiking that guy's, you know, drink every time, and it's just like, it's brilliant. I love it. So yeah, it's really good, and it's so relevant. It's such a relevant episode. Number 15. Now, I've heard some people don't like this episode that much. I love this episode. I think it's brilliant, and that's Tooth and Claw. Tooth and Claw, I think I said that right. Yeah, I love it. And it obviously introduces Torchwood, but I think, you know, I mean, you know, it took me years to realise that Doctor Who is an anagram of Torchwood. It just took me, I don't know why it took me such a long time. I watched like series, you know, of episodes of Torchwood before, you know, I realised. But I love it, and it's just, you know, just how it's done, and it's like, oh, is Queen Victoria actually a wolf, like that kind of thing, and that they're knighted, and it's just brilliant. And it also makes you think about how, like, when Rose started out as a companion, she started to, you know, like, change, and obviously they do it later on with Clara, but to a more extreme degree, how Rose has already started to change and doesn't care how dangerous it gets. So, you know, I really like it a lot. Number 14. Now, this is an episode that has stood the test of time. I love this episode, season 1. Season 1 is basically my favourite season, so I do get quite, I understand if people have been getting offended by some of my opinions, just because I love season 1 so much. It's so nostalgic for me, and most of the episodes are, like, actually, no, apart from maybe the Slovene one, all of the episodes are really, really, really well written, and I think they lose that later on, like, and it's, honestly, some of the episodes still scare me to this day, and one of the episodes that really does scare me is Dalek. I love it. I think this whole scene with the stairs, you know, Adam actually goes, oh yeah, Dalek defeated by a flight of stairs, and then it like it goes, I can't do the voice, it goes levitate, and it's like, it levitates, and it's just this moment, and it's crazy, and it's just this one maddened Dalek, and it's just brilliant. And it also makes you, like, you see that scene when Dalek goes to 9, you would make a good Dalek, that is incredible. Like, so that's a really bad Dalek impersonation. And Rose going, what the hell are you changing to? Seriously, I can still quote the lines. This was like over 10 years ago. I love this episode so much. I think it's so, so good. Number 13. This is a two-parter I really do like. I don't actually love it as much as I love the episode Dalek, but I think it's important. And it's really interesting. And that's the Sontaran Stratagem and the Poison Sky. I really like it. You got Donna and Martha together. And I remember watching it in season 4 and I was like, at the time, I was thinking, crap, I've been treating Martha really badly this whole time. Like, she is really badass. And I really do really appreciate Martha a lot more now. And I like how the Doctor was worried, like, oh no, that Donna and Martha are going to fight. And they, like, get along really well. And it's just great. And the whole atmosphere, it's actually quite scary because I drive, and I thought, like, my sat-nav could, like, direct me into, like, to a lake. Not there's a lot of lakes around here, but, something like that. Or, I could be choking on, like, gas and everything. I think it's really interesting. So, yeah. Number 12. This is one of my favourite episodes. I love this episode so much, and that is The Unquiet Dead. I love it. You've got Charles Dickens. Oh my god, that's that scene in Unicorn and the Wasp when Donna says to the Doctor, oh, it's like Charles Dickens turning up, like at Christmas, dealing with ghosts, and Doctor's like, and I really wanted to tell Donna, yeah, this actually happened to me. I love it. It's just written so well, and that obviously brings in the whole bad wolf thing. And obviously a lot of people don't realise that I can't say her name properly, it's a Welsh name, but it's Gwen. It's a past relative of Gwen Cooper from Torchwood, and I just love it. It's done so well, and Rose does look stunning. Okay, number 11, the last one on this list, is again one of my favourite episodes. We're getting to basically all my favourite episodes now. Yeah, I love this. It stood really well the test of time. I think it's hilarious and scary and brilliant all at once. And that is The End of the World. I think it's great. Now when I look back at it, I'm like, God, Rose, your phone is so old. Like, and then I remember I had basically the same phone at the time. I love it. It's, that whole thing, they've got Britney Spears, Toxic, they've got Tainted Love. It's just fantastic, as Nine would say. I love, like, you see Cassandra, Face of Bo, just Rose having to deal with all these, like, aliens, and then you introduce the psychic paper. It's the first episode where you actually introduce the psychic paper. And I think it's just a great episode, so I love it. So yeah. That's the end of my list. Join me next time for me doing my top 10 favourite episodes from the Russell T Davies era of Doctor Who. So yeah, hope you guys like that. If you want me to react to anything else, do a challenge, or review, or do another favourite episode list of anything, let me know in the comments below, and be sure to like and subscribe.